Alright, we are on the play with some Rug Delver here in match 3 of the league. This is going to be a mulligan, I think. Bauble represents every card in our deck right now. Knuckleblade, Stubborn Denial, Mystery Card, and 4 lands really seems quite bad, so I think it's a mulligan. I would much rather have this. It's not fantastic, we're definitely going to keep it. Forked Bolt we don't need. Let's bottom that. We have enough damage-based removal spells as is, and I would really like to see a land followed by some threats. Well, that's the threat. This is going to be the land. I think we may as well put the Misty on top. Actually, we can have both. Just in case we decide we want both. I mean, it seems unlikely, but hey, who knows? Blackleaf Cliffs for the opponent and pass. I want to say Living End. We definitely play the Misty. There's nothing else we actually want to do, so I think we're going to pass. No play for our opponent, not confirming or denying the Living End theory. Second Blackleaf Cliffs. 2 mana for a Dark Confidant. That's perfectly fine. It's just going to eat a Lightning Bolt. Let's go to end step, bolt that, and I think we're going to leave the land where it was. We're going to want to play around Liliana of the Veil because I'm feeling Jund at this point. That means we're not going to want to tap basically out for Hooting Mandrels next turn. I still think I want the land. We'll play it, pass, hold up our interaction. If the opponent does absolutely nothing, I might actually just Snap Bolt. Here's a Forest. Well, they aren't doing anything. Dark Confidant pretty strongly debunks my theory there about playing against Living End. Believe we want Breeding Pool plus Forest. We could get Island plus Forest if we wanted to be very concerned about our life total, but it doesn't look like that's going to be a huge deal here. Snapcaster Mage, targeting the spell we will actually be able to cast. Let's bolt the face, present a clock. Lightning Bolt targeting Snapcaster Mage is perfectly fine. Snap Trigger resolves, bolt you. Stubborn Denial is fantastic. We're going to go ahead and delve away the entire graveyard now that we can afford to tap out. And we're probably going to want to not Lightning Bolt unless they are unable to use any relevant removal here. If they have 2 lands available, we're going to want to hold up that Denial. 4 mana, Chandra, Torch of Defiance. That's going to be very pesky. We're going to counter it. Looking more and more like Jund as the match goes on. Tarmogoyf, an excellent pickup. Would be better if we had a 4th land because I would play it while holding up Mana Leak. As is, I think we just hold up Mana Leak. Yeah, probably better. I don't really want to be trading 1-for-1 with the Jund opponent, especially if we're going to be trading evenly on mana. Blood Moon. Ooh. Main deck Blood Moon out of Jund. I want to get this person's list after. We're going to counter that. That's going to grow Tarmogoyf. Growing their Tarmogoyfs as well. That's cool. Bolting them doesn't seem very relevant unless we find another bolt. So I think we're just going to keep on keeping on. Delver of Secrets means we could play a lot of threats. Main deck Damnation does have me worried. I'm assuming they're not playing main deck Damnation, but who knows? We may as well not play into sweepers if we don't have to. Raging Ravine tapped for the opponent. Abrupt Decay, taking out Tarmogoyf. And are we going to bolt them at this point? They have a Raging Ravine. We're probably better off just keeping the bolt in hand. We'll get in there. Let's play the Delver. A little extra pressure, and I don't think we're going to play the Steam Vents. Doesn't seem necessary. Lightning Bolt probably on Delver, yup. Nothing we're going to do about that. Liliana here could be bad for us. Tireless Tracker, not quite as bad. Definitely not quite as bad. And if they don't have a follow-up, we're just going to get in there. Tarmogoyf, good follow-up. Alright, decision point. Do we Bolt Face or Bolt Tracker? I want a Bolt Face. I don't think we want to try to play the long game here with the opponent having a better board, Goyf versus Mandrills, and a Raging Ravine. Traverse, only 2 card types in the bin. That's not going to find us a Snapcaster Mage. 2 card types for us, of course. The opponent has many more. At this point I want to play the Steam Vents because with Traverse in hand, it's more likely we want to be using some mana. The opponent's fetch lands are all off. I'm almost certain they're playing a decent chunk of fetch lands. They're going to take our Traverse, but that's probably just fine. Certainly not good, but just fine. No attacks because they fear the crackback. Good for us. That's going to be a Delver of Secrets, and if they don't have removal and it transforms, that's game. Then again, we need our Jund opponent to not draw spot removal, and for us to have a Delver transform. That's a fetch land that will probably never be cracked. However, the opponent just got to use a clue, which is pretty good for them. Very exciting stuff. Blood Moon Jund. I don't think they can afford to attack here. They have a card in hand. That's fair. In that case, we're just going to take it. We have plenty of life to work with. What do we got? Wooded Foothills. Not what we needed. Now, if they have a removal spell and we attack, we lose the game. If they don't have a removal spell and we attack, we win the game. Magic's fun, isn't it? Whew. Okay. If they have a removal spell and we don't attack, they kill one of our creatures, animate Ravine, swing with the team. We have to chump block Tarmogoyf, and we're going to end up at 2 life. So I think our best line is actually to just attack, because if they don't have the removal spell, we win the game on the spot. If they do have the removal spell, we lose the game on the spot, but even if we didn't attack, we'd end up at 2 life and in top deck mode. So I think we basically lose to a removal spell regardlessly. So I'm going to go with winning in the scenarios that the opponent is bluffing. They weren't bluffing. Alright. Well. Recording! Sorry about that. Alright, well, we gambled. The gamble didn't work. I don't exactly go into the Jund matchup expecting to win game 1, so there's that consolation. But still, to be that close definitely burns. First decision point, are we going to bring in Blood Moon? I don't know. The opponent was playing Blood Moon. The opponent was also playing a lot of lands that look like they get punished by Blood Moon. I don't believe I have a sideboard plan for Jund ready to go because Jund isn't exactly common. Sorry if the yelling was excessively loud, by the way. Didn't think of that. Let's see what we want to board in. These 9 cards look good. I don't want sweepers, I don't want artifact or enchantment hate, and I don't want colorless hate. Stuff I do want includes the ability to unconditionally counter red and green spells, steal creatures, draw a bunch of cards, produce cards basically, shoot things, gain life. Mountain should smooth out our mana base a bit, and Blood Moon, probably good enough even if they're playing it as well. There's at least somewhat of a chance that they're boarding out their Blood Moon, given that their Blood Moons probably aren't as good as ours are, I would think. Their mana's a lot greedier. Savage Knuckleblade looks pretty bad against a deck that's main decking Abrupt Decay. There's also the fact that Goyf is going to give Nux a pretty hard time. We can board out at least a couple bolt effects, but we're going to want to keep most of them, given that the opponent's playing Dark Confidant. Disrupting Shoal came out because I want to play the card advantage game, and Shoal really does not play the card advantage game. Thought Scours come out. The opponent's going to do a good job of filling our graveyard for us, and this is where it gets hard. We have to cut 2 more cards, and I'm pretty sure all of our cards are good, so it comes down to which cards are least good. And that's difficult. We could cut a non-zero amount of Mandrills, although I'm not sure I want to. Dismember and Vapor Snag, cards I very much want right now. Maybe another Lightning Bolt? I don't really like cutting the fourth. Yeah, that would be the 4th Bolt effect. I don't really like that. I could see cutting a Blood Moon just because it's not necessarily going to be great. But I think that game they had 1 basic land. So I feel like I want all 3 Blood Moons. Maybe we just cut a Mandrills. Oh, we should be cutting a couple Mandrills anyways because we're boarding in Reveler. There you go. Easier than I thought. We're going to submit that. Hopefully it goes well. We're on the play. This hand is a keep. I like it. I like it very much. Turn 1 Delver, turn 2 Tarmogoyf. Sounds good. Our mana will also be at least somewhat decent as far as Blood Moon goes. Steam Vents, we're going to pay Shock for sure. The opponent starting off on Blackleaf Cliffs again, and here's a Nihil Spellbomb, which should make Tarmogoyf a lot worse, but then again, it's an artifact, so it's going to make Goyf better? Top card is a Serum Visions. We're going to show that off. Transform Delver of Secrets. Get in for 3. Sounds like good stuff. Now, the opponent could actually use the Nihil Spellbomb in conjunction with Lightning Bolt to take out a Tarmogoyf. Definitely relevant to what we want to play. Kind of makes me not want to play the Goyf. Then again, Nihil Spellbomb offers that line pretty much until the opponent gets some card types going. So I think we're just going to play the Goyf anyways. And if they want to spend their turn killing it, so be it. That's how it's going to be. I think that's our best thing. And suddenly, Goyf no longer dies to Bolt. With the opponent having a land in their graveyard, Nihil Spellbomb would count as another... Oh, that's interesting. So they do want to use the Spellbomb to manage Delver of Secrets, to manage Tarmogoyf, given that they just bolted a Delver. We're going to get in there for 3, assuming the opponent doesn't nuke our graveyard right here. Usually you want to save this until you can draw a card off of it. So I would not be surprised if they saved it. We're going to cast a Visions, get an island, get that Blood Moon mana. And I think we're going to be holding up Stubborn Denial here. Just in case they have Liliana. Yep. I would have done that after the Visions. They didn't draw either. They did not pay black. They didn't have the mana to pay black. Snapcaster's pretty good. Lightning Bolt, not great given that we already have 1 in hand. I'm thinking bottom top. Head over to the opponent. They actually made Goyf bigger. Kind of funny. Verdant Catacombs for the opponent. Maybe they're going to get Blood Moon mana too. They are. Scavenging Ooze, sure. I believe that is a bolt-on sight creature. Sounds like a good idea. This does put the Fatal Push shields down, but they could have just not played the Skoos and had Fatal Push on Goyf anyways. Then again, they didn't know that our only counter was Stubborn Denial, but still. Goyf now a 5/6 because Instant is in the graveyard. Stubborn Denial turned on. Don't think we're going to bother with Snapcaster Mage on this turn cycle. Let's Visions instead. Another threat, great. Another threat, almost even better. Don't think we need the Stomping Ground. Tarmogoyf sounds excellent, given that threat density is pretty much all we want. If we can keep our opponent off doing anything scary, and given that we have Vapor Snag, Snap, Vapor Snag, that doesn't seem very difficult. So we really just need to have enough threats that we can slog through whatever our opponent's doing here. Denial that Liliana. Ferocious, online, they scoop. Okay, so Game 2 definitely went better than Game 1 did. Then again, Game 1 was really good up until it got really bad. Tarmogoyf is really good against us. Also really good for us. Gotta love that Goyf. Didn't mention it at the start of the video. We're in match 3 of this. No, I did say match 3. We're currently 1-1 in the league. So 1-1 going into match 3. 1-1 in this match as well. Not a favorable matchup for us, I don't think. Mid-range decks, full of discard and removal. And 2-for-1s in the form of Liliana, some Kolaghan's Command, Maelstrom Pulse. Good ways to prey on Rug Delver if that's what you need to do. I highly doubt that's what you need to do, given that probably 1% of the meta probably play this deck. So yeah, you're not getting a lot of metagaming points if you're gunning for Rug Delver, but that's how you would do it. Jund probably one of our worst matchups. I don't know if Jund is worse than Eldrazi-Tron. Maybe. Might be better though, given that we have tools that allow us to pretty easily fight Jund, given that they're good against pretty much the rest of the format. Huntmaster, Reveler, I guess, Blood Moon, Melody, debatably. How do we want to change up our sideboard plan here? I don't think we actually do. I might cut a Blood Moon, given that the opponent is very keenly aware of Blood Moon. Maybe we want Lightning Bolt, maybe a One of Thought Scour. Smooth out that graveyard. I could roll with that. Lightning up Blood Moon, adding in Thought Scour makes me kind of happy on the draw anyways, given that we're not going to really want the curve to be too high, and Thought Scour smooths out the curve with its whole cantripping deal. Okay, Flooded Strand biting us in this hand. Normally, when I have a Traverse, I want to go get a Stomping Ground Traverse for an island. This hand makes us want to get a Breeding Pool Traverse for an island. And that's a lot worse, given that it cuts us off of one of our colors. Tarfire might never be cast. I actually think this is a keep. The opponent, though, is on an Inquisition deck, which means they could take our Traverse before we can cast it. That could be really bad for us. So could Mulliganing, though, so I'm just going to run it anyways. We'll see how that goes. The opponent mulled to 6. They might go further. We're going to find out. Kept 6. We don't have anything to do. I don't need priority. Here's the Inquisition, probably taking Traverse. Ironically, if we draw a land in any decent time frame, taking Traverse probably punishes our opponent. It does offer a very nice play, though, in attempting to mana screw us. If they do, we probably just slam Delver. Inquisition, A bit of a double-edged sword here for this sort of hand, not in that it's bad for the opponent and us, but in that it puts us between a rock and a hard place. If we keep the hand, we're vulnerable to Inquisition or Thoughtseize taking our mana fixing, so maybe we want to mulligan the hand, which puts us in a position where we're vulnerable to Inquisition and Thoughtseize. So maybe we want to keep the hand. The opponent took Snapcaster Mage, fearing the 2-for-1s. Blood Moon, not what we want to see, given that we're getting a breeding pool here. Flooded Strand definitely punishing us in this match. We're not going to slam Delver. Get an island. Send it over to the opponent. The opponent's fetching here, so they probably have a nice play to make. It's a Tarmogoyf. That's really bad for us. Serum Visions? Okay. That's what we're going to start on. And I think we're going to hold up Stubborn Denial, which is really awkward. I want that Dismember so badly. Don't think we need the Steam Vents. No, I don't think we're anywhere close to casting Blood Moon. Yeah, we just played the island. I figured I would check. I think we have to just hold up Stubborn Denial, as bad as that is. I very much want a way to fight Liliana of the Veil, if they go for it. Unfortunately, that means we're probably going to be doing nothing on this turn, because it's pretty unlikely the opponent plays Liliana into a denial that they know about. That seems like something they wouldn't want to do. So yeah, they're just gonna not do anything and watch us time walk ourselves. We're gonna dismember this Tarmogoyf, I think. Dismember Goyf, play Delver, hold up Stubborn Denial. Probably not fantastic. Probably the best thing we can do, though. Going down to 10 to make this play. Goyf's probably going to hit us for a sizable amount, though, if we don't. So I think that's fine. We're going to play the Delver. Get something on board. Delver's the kind of thing that is not long for this world when it does hit the board. But at least we're playing something. Looks like a Lightning Bolt. It is a Lightning Bolt. I'm a lot more hesitant to tap out to play Goyf here, because then Liliana is just going to be really bad for us. Dark Confidant, sure. I'm going to get us a Steam Vents. We're going to go down to 7. Let's Tarfire that. Hope the opponent doesn't have a second Tarmogoyf. If they do, we're in deep trouble. If they don't, we might be okay. Hold on to Stubborn Denial. I wonder if we denial a push in this spot. Well, they didn't push. That's good. Bloodstained Mire for the opponent. Okay. They're either holding something up or they're drawing very poorly. Do I want to commit Mandrills to the board? Probably. Given that we have Stubborn Denial, almost certainly. I most likely even just want to pay 1 green for it so that we can have Denial plus Snare. 1, 2, 8 cards in the graveyard. Thank you, MTGO, from saving me from having to count. The opponent has Sorcery, Land, Creature, Instant. So we have quite a bit of leeway here as far as delving goes. Traverse the Ulvenwald, the main concern. Creature. Pretty likely creatures end up back in the graveyard. And I think I want to leave Dismember. You know what? Snap Dismember seems pretty bad. Alright, 2-turn clock. If the opponent cracks a fetch and we find Lightning Bolt, then it's a 1-turn clock. Let's see what we can do here. Quite exciting. If they have a Blood Moon here, I think we might actually just let it resolve. They probably don't want to be playing Blood Moon in this spot, but if they do, very interesting. That's something I want to Stubborn Denial, I think. If they have a Liliana to follow it up and we can't counter the Lily, so be it. We're going to take out the Lily anyways. They just drew the Fatal Push. Fetch. Could be a Liliana. In that case, we're going to lose a creature. Maybe it's just a Terminate. Who knows? Or it's Blood Moon? Could be. One of each color. Kolagon's Command. Getting back a Tarmogoyf, which we have a snare for. And it's going to shock us. Can we confirm? Yep, targeting me. My name's not Blue. That makes it slightly harder. Snap Dismember looking even worse in this spot. Traverse the Ulvenwald. We do have 4 card types. I do believe we want to get a Snapcaster Mage into hand. If we had more mana, I would naturally... Oh no, Knuckleblade is not in the deck right now. We're gonna traverse. Get a Snapcaster Mage. Where is it? Huntmaster and Bedlam Reveler looking very bad here. And the opponent's at 3, we're at 5. Tensions running hot. They scooped. Okay, so I guess the tensions aren't running that hot. That was a pretty fun match. We beat Jund. I like beating Jund. Jund is a fun matchup because it's interactive. A lot of our bad matchups are really enjoyable because interactive decks are better against us than the non-interactive decks are. I won't say that in general interactive decks are just straight good against us because we have favorable matchups against quite a few interactive decks, I would say. We also have unfavorable matchups against, say, Jund, Obzon, Blue-White Control. So, a bit back and forth, but I think in general, non-interactive decks are easier for us because we go Clock Disruption, take them out, whereas the interactive decks have a much easier time grinding us out. We only play 13 real threats, Nux is in the deck, and Snapcaster Mage is like, kinda sorta a threat, so it is entirely possible that they can just run us out of action. That said though, interactive decks allow for a lot of back and forth, as we saw in this matchup, where both sides have to figure out what the other person's up to, what disruption we want to use, what disruption we want to save, how best can we throw a wrench in the other guy's plan while actually being proactive enough to close out the game, and that's what we saw both players try to do there. Leads to some fun magic. Hopefully you all enjoyed that video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.